Hey viewers, you are welcome to Time with Kizito on Awake TV. On this show, you are going to listen to the great minds, the big hearing about that you've not even seen them before. On this show, wherever they are in the world, I, Kizito, will bring them on board for you to listen to them, how they are able to make it, the hustles they've been able to go through to, and they are able to endure them, and they have reached where they are right now. We bring them on board, you listen to them, they will share their experiences with you so that you can also learn something out of that. Today, I have in the studio with me a very great personality. I can see he's smiling, but I won't let you see him now. I will introduce him now. Before I introduce him, let's acknowledge our sponsors. Do you need a house to buy, or you need a land to buy in large quantity, or you need it like just to build, to make a small home for you and your family on? Look no further. Do you need a house to buy? Look no further. Go Property Link. It's the only place to look if you need a property to buy. Anything property, just mention them. Cars, house, just mention the properties you will need to buy. Your dream home you want to build, just talk to Go Property Link. They also have an online marketing platform where you can sell your property. If you want to do renovation works, talk to Go Property Link. If you want a credible firm to manage your property for you, look no further. Just talk to Go Property Link. You can contact Go Property Link on 055-1046. Come back to Time with Kizito. I have in the studio here with me a very great personality for life, and he's in the person of Korsi Senyo, the Executive Director of Africa Center for Peace Building, here to tell us about his upcoming event, the first West African Peace Dialogue. Welcome, Mr. Korsi Senyo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kizito.
So tell us, first West African Peace Dialogue, what is it all about?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your listeners as well. And before I start my presentation, I would like us to have 1 minute's silence in the honor of a fallen hero. That is the first president, in fact, the liberator of Zimbabwe, the first president of the Republic of Zimbabwe, President Robert Mugabe, who died a couple of days ago in Singapore. And as a Pan-Africanist myself, I see Robert Mugabe as a very iconic character in Africa, and when it comes to liberation and then fighting for the rights of the African people, and also standing by the African people. So I would like to observe that 1 second silence in honor of Robert Mugabe. May his soul rest in peace as he's been prepared to lay to rest. Yes, thank you very much. Like you rightly said, first West Africa Peace Dialogue. This is a gathering that is being put together by the Africa Center for Peace Building, Global Educators for All Initiatives from Nigeria, the Emmanuel Ivogba Foundation also from Nigeria, and West Africa chapter of United Religions Initiative. They seeks to bring leaders of civil society organizations, academia, policymakers, and then legal practitioners, the media, to brainstorm and explore the best ways of resolving some of the new trends of conflicts that we are currently experiencing in Africa. And of course, I said a new trend of conflict in Africa because you agree with me that recently we have been hearing of xenophobic attacks in South Africa, and has now resurrected again, which we have seen videos and footages that some African nationals were attacked and killed. And this, to say the least, is a disaster, and it's a very shameful development for Africa, that at this time, instead of us coming together to share from a common plate or a common bowl, we rather come together to kill each other because we perceive them as foreigners. It's a very shameful development. And if you also agree with me, back in Ghana here, it seems Ghana and Nigeria are also experiencing a similar situation, not really an attack like what we are experiencing in South Africa, yeah, but a trade feud, which some traders in the country feel that some part of the laws, the GIPC law, some part of it is really not biting. It's really not working. That law bars foreigners from engaging in retail trade. So they feel that the continuous overlook of that law is a threat to their business. And of course, some of them took the law into their own hands. And a couple of months ago, we had an incident in Kumasi Swame magazine that some traders went to attack some shops believed to be believed to be owned by Nigerians. And then about a week later, we also have had another situation here in Accra where some Ghanaians also closed down other shops, some shops in Accra here believed to be shops belonging to Nigerians. Yes. So when you look at this development, that is also coming into Ghana. And you know, Ghana, West Africa, Ghana and Nigeria play a very important role, a very important role when it comes to, issues in the sub-region. So we fear as civil society organization whose foundation is built on the principles of peace. We fear that if we do not do anything about this situation, just like how it has started a trade feud between Ghana and Nigeria, if we don't do anything about it, it can also degenerate into something that we cannot control. And this is the reason why we want to organize the West Africa Peace Dialogue, bring people together to actually discuss why the issue, why is this issue happening. Recently, AU has, promulgated this popular treaty that we call the Africa Free Trade, that all Africa, most of the member states are signatories. Now, ECOWAS also has a treaty, laws, the regional laws that seeks to promote a free trade within the West Africa sub-region. So every member state in West Africa that is a signatory to that ECOWAS, supposed to adhere to this particular, agreement. But sadly enough, when you look at the situation, you will see that the laws of Ghana also put a kind of restriction on foreign nationals, African foreign nationals as well, from engaging in a retail trade. So these are some of the things we would like to discuss.
So it means there is a limitation as to how foreigners will trade in Ghana. Yeah,
exactly. That limitation did not even take into consideration nationals from the West Africa community of ECOWAS, from ECOWAS, has no exemption from nationals of Africa, has no exemption of foreigners or people from outside Africa. Do you get it? So meaning, per that law, that bars foreigners from engaging in retail trade, whether you are from Ghana, whether you are from Togo, you are from Cote d'Ivoire, that are even our neighbors, Nigeria or wheresoever, any other African country, you must also be subjected to the same law. Do you get it? This is the reason why we think that there is the need for us to come together to look at the various laws, the various national laws. Though we are sovereign states, we need to explore the various laws within the sub-region and also look at the national laws and see if the national laws are consistent with the international treaties that these states ascribe to.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Senyo, you mentioned xenophobic attacks. People say it's a black-on-black attack, it's not a xenophobic attack. What is your take on that?
Yes. For me as a Pan-Africanist, what actually is happening in South Africa, because I'm not in South Africa to actually know exactly how the thing is happening. I am only seeing footages. I'm only reading from the media and watching footages. And if indeed what is being said, that is the case, then this is clearly an Afrophobia, where South Africans are rather killing their colleague African nationals. You know, I watched an interview with Sky News, where the journalist was interviewing some youth believed to be South Africans, and the journalist posed a question to them. The journalist is from Britain, posed a question to them that why are they attacking, foreign Africans? Okay. You know, no, she said foreigners. Okay. And then the gentleman in the being interviewed said that they see the foreigners as a threat to their businesses because they come to their country and then take menial jobs that, for instance, they will not take and get the pay, like as a small pay. Foreigner, when they come, they even accept those small pay. So for instance, a foreigner in South Africa can accept like 100 Ghana cedis to do a job that a South African citizen will not accept the same amount to do that job. Yes. So in a nutshell, foreigners are taking over their jobs. So the journalists ask him, but what about us? We are whites, but you are not attacking our white. He said for them, they are not taking their businesses. They are not, engaging in those menial jobs. So clearly, you can see that this is an attack on Africans, rather than even coin it as xenophobic attack.
So you call it Afrophobic?
Afrophobic, yes. Yeah, Afrophobic. This is clearly Afrophobic attack because it's like attacking and killing your fellow African, which is actually a threat to African unity and a threat to Pan-Africanism agenda. Okay.
So let's go to the first West African Peace Dialogue. Who are some of the speakers we should be expecting?
Okay, thank you very much. We will have a keynote speaker. That is Professor John Gachi, who is the Dean of University of Cape Coast School of Business. Okay. We also have one speaker we have some other speakers from Nigeria. We have Dr. Raphael Ogaoko, who is the International Coordinator of Global Educators for All Initiatives. And then he is the immediate past Secretary General of Universal Peace Federation Nigeria. We also have Dr. Emmanuel Ande Ivogba, who is the founder of the Emmanuel Ivogba Foundation that are parts of the organizers. And he's also the Regional West Africa Coordinator of United Religions Initiative. We have the leader of Economic Fighters League, Mr. Ernesto Yebua. If you remember the drop that chamber. Yes, the man that he's also a very powerful Pan-Africanist, the one that led the protest to Parliament to drop the chamber. He's also Ernesto Yebua. He's also speaking. We have another traditional leader, Togbi Amajake. He will also be speaking. We have lawyer Zakaria Tanko Musa, who is a lecturer at University of Ghana Institute of Journalism. He will also be speaking, and of course myself, I will also be there.
I can't wait to listen to you.
Thank you.
Already. So why the need for this first West African Peace Dialogue?
Yes, thank you very much. Like in my earlier submission, I indeed stated that there is seems to be a feud, like misunderstanding between Ghana and Nigeria, and we fear if that kind of situation here in Ghana hasn't been resolved, it could also trickle down to Nigeria, where Nigerians will also say that since Ghanaian nationals are not allowing their citizens to engage in retail trade, of course they will also not allow Ghanaians, and the moment that thing starts happening, you realize that Ivorian can also say that no, we won't allow Ghanaians to come and trade in our country. And this particular development, if we don't come together, discuss it, find the root source, and stop this kind of thing, it will become a regional conflict. You know, it will become an unbearable situation within the West Africa sub-region, which of course will have a dire consequences on the entire Africa, because we have Ghanaian businesses that are also operating outside Ghana. We have Nigerian businesses that are also operating outside Nigeria, you know, and are all in Africa. So if we start having this kind of situation, you will realize that the agenda for uniting Africa and empowering Africa for economic peace will never be achieved. A typical example is, you know, is the South Africa case. Yeah. When the situation has become very tense in South Africa, there were reports that we were hearing that a reprisal attacks were occurring in Nigeria, that there were footages that were alleged to have been attacks launched on ShopRite in Nigeria because they believe that they are South Africa businesses and MTN. And even right here in Ghana, you will realize that what is happening in South Africa, though there have never been any report that a Ghanaian was killed, but some were reported to have been injured, you will realize that that situation is also even trickling down to Ghana here, where South Africa communication giant MTN is having its fair share, just because people start spreading rumors on social media that, you know, because of the situation that is happening in South Africa, you know, there is a likelihood that MTN will close down in Ghana. If it does, you know, the mobile money system started taking their money. You know, some of these things are not healthy for businesses. That is why most of the times when corporate bodies, corporate business bodies find it very difficult to commit resources into peace-related activities, I become very worried, because, my brother, peace is the foundation of every successful society. There is no way Ghana can develop if we were to be having war, or we were to be having conflict almost every season, almost every year. No investor, no single investor will be willing to invest in Ghana, because their investment will not be secured. Yeah. Do you understand? So it is very important that when you see this kind of signals, which you can foresee that no, if this thing is allowed to continue, there is the likelihood that it will generate from a mere misunderstanding to even a violent conflict. Yeah. Do you get it? Yeah. And then to crisis, and then even to war. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. That is the reason why we are organizing these events, to actually bring together concerned citizens to dialogue. You know, that is why we call it dialogue. Okay. At the conference, we'll be having Nigerian, we'll be having Ghanaian, we'll be having other, you know, we'll be having the media. We need to hear from each of the participants, some of the participants, what are their experiences when it has to do with some of these cases. You know, Mr. Kizito, Joy, there's a very important thing. Like, you know, I'm a media man, you are a media man, and I'm also a peace advocate, and at the same time, a Pan-Africanist. But when you look at the way our media also reports crime-related cases, sometimes it makes the situation very difficult. Where in reporting crime-related cases, we nationalize the reporting system. You know, when I talk about nationalizing the reporting, this nation's citizen has committed this crime. This country's citizen has committed that crime. You know, the moment you start doing some of these stories, you are automatically painting a certain picture in the minds of your viewers, in the minds of the citizens, that that country is in fact committing, citizens of that country are likely to commit more crime than others. Is bad. Okay. Which In actual fact, it's not the case, because I have, when the Nigeria-Ghana the attack happened in Swami Magazine, we issued a statement. Africa Center for Peace Building, we issued a statement, and in that statement we indicated that crime has no color, crime has no gender, crime has no nationality, crime has no tribe. A crime is a crime. It doesn't depend who commits it. So under no circumstances, when we are reporting crime or the law must deal with criminals, there should be a national exemption. So I made a very typical example that, let's assume that in Ghana, for instance, when the police want to publish or issue a press statement on crime-related cases, they bring a statistics of which tribe that comes. So an Ewe man does this, yes. An Ashanti man does this, yes. And they seem to bring this statistics to create a chaos. Yes. You and I will feel that no, this tribe commits more crime, that tribe. So that is what we are trying to say, and it's very important that the media exercises caution when it comes to reporting crime-related matters, and that is in the case of some of the Ghana trade feud that we are talking about.
So just for laughs, just to explain what you were saying further, just like saying that reporting in the media that an Aigbe man has been jailed because he killed 13 cats. Or because they want to make mockery of Aigbe. Exactly. They eat cat meat.
Yeah, they eat cat meat. So, okay. So you realize that even when your cat gets missing,
you have to trace an Aigbe man around your area that he is responsible for your missing cat.
That's exactly the situation I'm trying to talk about. Okay. Yes.
First, West African Peace Dialogue is a very great thing, as you are explaining. Who are your sponsors?
Hey, thank you very much. You know, in my submission, I did indicate that it sometimes saddened my heart. For the past 9 years that I've been working with the Africa Center for Peace Building, it saddened my heart to know that not many corporate bodies are willing to invest, even a peso, in projects like this. You know, I'm not saying that they should commit all their corporate social responsibilities into promoting peace, no, but they should pay equal attention. You know, if we were to cut the matter short, my brother, we have actually no sponsors. We have no corporate body, no business that has committed that I'm giving you 100 Ghana, I'm giving you 1 Ghana, no corporate body.
So
not because we have not approached them.
So how do you do this?
Yeah, so I will explain. That is why I am trying to say that, you see, so it seems like businesses do not see the need to promote peace. Meanwhile, it is the peace that gives them a very conducive environment to operate. So I was using the MTN case as just an example. Let's assume that a conflict escalates even in another country. Its effect is happening right here. So they should make corporate body. I would like to use this opportunity to call on Ghanaian businesses, not only Ghanaian business, African businesses, to make part of their budgets for corporate social responsibility into promoting peace-related activities, because that is what will give them, you know, the base on which the country will stand, for which even their investment will be secured. You know, so basically we have the conferences being individually supported by the organizing organizations, and then some of them from individual participants that are coming, they are supporting this conference. And of course,
it's so bad.
Yes, so for the first time we are having a very good signal from University of Professional Studies, which with what I'm seeing, they will be giving us the venue free of charge. Then it means that that is the biggest contribution we will ever have towards this conference.
Okay, so the venue is at University of Professional Studies.
Yeah, University of Professional Studies, their main auditorium.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Before we continue, let's acknowledge our sponsors.
Okay, thank you.
Back to you. Do you need a web designer or somebody to host your website? Do you need a graphic designer? Then look no further. Talk to Senyo Global Solutions right now. You can contact Senyo Global Solutions on 0200-579832 or visit their website on senyoglobal.com. Senyo Global Solutions, life made simple. Welcome back, Mr. Senyo.
Thank you.
So let's continue.
Okay.
After this program, you know, what next?
Okay, thank you very much. After the peace dialogue, which comes forth September 20th to 21st,
okay.
That is just next week, Friday to Saturday. After the event, we expect that participants, both participants and then speakers, panelists, would actually, and ourselves, we the organizers of the program, will be equipped enough to know exactly what the issues are. You know, some of them we might just be sitting in our armchairs and be assuming that this is the root cause and this is the way to go. But when we bring these people together, we will actually know, hearing from all angles and people from diverse backgrounds, we will be able to help us to identify the root cause. And that is what is going to help us for the way forward. So after the conference, we are going to compile the proceedings of the dialogue. We are going to compile it in a form of a communique and send to the appropriate authorities, sent to government, sent to ECOWAS, AU, UN, other agencies that play a very significant role in ensuring peace and security in the world or in the sub-region. We will serve them with that. Outside that, we as peace-building organization need to lead a form of advocacy. Advocacy in the terms, in the area of trying to educate the public, you know, about the tendencies of their pronouncements, you know, when it comes to some of these issues and what they need to do. Do you get it? We also need to actually use the opportunity, that opportunity, to also kind of call on the media by sharing, you know, whatever will come up with the during the conference. Share it with the media that look, in reporting cases A, B, C, D, you made this comment, see, that seems not to, in fact, either reduce the situation, but rather help in creating a more negative impression about the situation, about certain nationals. So from the conference, we are going to serve this communique and then move on to series of advocacy and then series of social media campaign, help to educate the Ghanaian population and then the West Africa population about the dangers involving, you know, some of the things that we do and what we should do to be able to live together. And if it has to be that we've identified that maybe with the Ghana-Nigeria trade feud, for instance, we've identified that there are parts of the laws of Ghana or Nigeria or any of the regional bodies that is actually not helping the situation. Of course, all we can do is to make proposal to the appropriate authorities and make them know that law ABCD or rule ABCD should be reconsidered or should be relooked at, you know, justifying it by the situation. So that is what we are going to do.
Mr. Senyo, someone is watching us now. He wants to attend this peace dialogue,
yes,
but he doesn't know how to get to attend the program.
Okay.
What are some of the procedures?
The requirements.
Yes.
What all you have to do is that, you know, initially we like I told you from the beginning, we were getting registration fee, little bit registration fee from participants to help us put together the event when it comes to of course of feeding, because lunch, breakfast, water, printing, engaging the media, and who were requesting for, you know, support, a token from participants. But of course, if there is someone who is interested in this event that do not even have that support, but has the zeal, the willingness, he wants to come and hear something and go back to his community and let the community people know that no, how these things is going will not help us in our collective agenda of Africa unity, Africa free trade. Of course, we can give a slot to those group of people or those persons to come. All we want to see is that we should now. How do they come? They should just call us. They should send me a WhatsApp message or send a WhatsApp message to any of our team members. 0249 155 003. If you send me a WhatsApp and you tell me that maybe you are from here and you want to participate in the event, yet you don't have any token to give, we will give you a slot. But those who also want to willingly support so that we can help collectively do this program, of course they are welcome. And any corporate organization, let me use the opportunity, any corporate organization that will want to sponsor this particular project is highly welcome, and we will highly acknowledge those sponsors, and I can assure them that they will never regret supporting a project like this.
Okay. You mentioned in your submission that you've been with Africa Center for Peace Building for 9 good years.
Yes.
It's not a small journey.
It's not a small journey. Since 2010.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about?
Yes. My story with the Africa Center for Peace Building is something most of the time I would like to narrate when the sun is going to, in the evening, so that the sun can sleep with it. Because the irony of my story is that you have a situation where you have devoted your life as a youth to promote peace, and you end up not rather having your internal peace. So at the end of the day, you always have, though you are outside wanting to promote peace, you always have inner conflict. And you know, Mr. Gobey, mind you, peace starts from the mind, and so is conflict. Do you get it? So my story has always been that even though I want to promote peace, my body is out there promoting peace, I always have an inner conflict. But the very beautiful aspect of the matter is that it never stopped me from achieving my dream, because I know in life you forever face challenges, but what makes you an extraordinary person is when you are able to encounter those challenges and how you use those challenges as a springboard, to succeed. Actually, the history a little bit about Africa Center for Peace. We were 3. We started far back in KNUST when I was graduating from school, and then we came together to form Africa Coalition for Peace Building. That is how come the name is AFCOP. Okay. In 2009, we started 2009 in our hostel, small, trying to organize a UN Peace Day. And in fact, let me use the opportunity to also inform viewers that September 21st, which is the day that the conference will be ending, that is the commemoration of the United Nations International Day of Peace. Oh. That is dedicated by the United Nations for the whole world to, pledge and commit to peace. Okay. So that day we'll also be observing the UN Peace Day. So in school these days, we will be organizing the UN Peace Day. So after those days, then we said that, why don't we rather use this, transform it into an NGO? That how come in August 2010, we registered it as a full-fledged NGO. Like I said, every activity that we do at the Africa Center for Peace Building over the years is either I personally do other jobs, to support the organization, or when I'm organizing an event like this, I appeal to participants, to pay to attend, because I'm the type that think that there is no way I can always be waiting for grants, donor grants from the Western world to be able to, do a project for my fellow Africans, you know. And the sad aspect of the matter is that it is very, 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 very unimaginable that African communities, African organizations, African businesses do not have any pool of grants to promote something of this nature. So some of us, we live on it. And you know, around 2012, I encountered a very huge challenge when I organized the famous Africa Peace Festival that I was aiming to bring about 1,000 people to Ghana for Africa Peace Festival, you know, and it was a disaster, you know. But at the end of the day, we are in it, and we hope that we will get there.
You are putting us in suspense, but yeah. Time is up. We'll invite you another time.
Okay, thank you so much.
For you to tell us more.
Thank you
very much.
I'm honored. Okay. Thanks for having me.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
I didn't fail my promise. I told you he had a very good personality in our mix, and he's going to tell you good, great things that will motivate you. But it saddens my heart that a program like this doesn't have sponsors. We don't have bodies that are supporting this project, this peace dialogue. It saddens my heart. I'm appealing to all the corporate bodies, the big companies. They should come out and bring their money and stop chopping big meat in their houses. They should support projects like this so that peace will reign. Thank you very much. This is the end of another edition of Time with Kizito on Awake TV. Catch me next week, same time on Awake TV.